Hey everyone, it's Kino here. Thanks for tuning in to the Encyclopedia of Yoga. This volume is about Chakrasana. Chakrasana is a backwards roll that it's really kind of hard to figure out what are the movement mechanics that can get this pose happening properly. It's almost more of a transition than a pose, but at the same time the transition is kind of so involved so that it gets the designation as a pose. Chakra is a wheel, so Chakrasana is literally the wheel pose, so it's to make your body into a wheel that pivots around the axis of the shoulder joints. Let's start off with the correct pronunciation. So repeat after me, Chakrasana. And then again, repeat after me, Chakrasana. One more time, Chakrasana. Okay, so now we're going to become a wheel, literally wheel pose. So the body has to become a wheel. So let's just pause for a moment and think about a wheel. So when the wheel has an axis point or a middle point and you're going to pivot your body around that. In Chakrasana, the wheel happens by pivoting the axis of the body around the wheel or the axis of the shoulder. So you're not going up, but you're going around, all right? You need a good amount of shoulder flexibility and a good amount of hamstring flexibility and really upper back flexibility. So flexibility could be a really big kind of obstacle. Now, let's start off with some basic things. If you have your hair tied up in a ponytail, like back here, you gotta take that down. Kind of part your hair on the middle and bring it around to the side. This is actually really important. If you have short hair, it really doesn't matter. You could just do it how you do it. But if you deviate off the center line, like if your neck goes over to the side, you can easily tweak your neck in this pose. I should say that if you have a herniated disc in your neck, you're suffering from whiplash, this is completely ill-advised, so it's counter-indicated. You want to skip this pose and just proceed with a normal jump back. What are some benefits to Chakrasana? Well, if you have a healthy neck, this can actually release tension around your upper body and around your neck. It can help you find how to lift your pelvis from the center line. It's almost like you're lifting up and over. It gives you a good sense of directionality, how to move from feeling through to the inner body instead of always just seeing where you're going. Okay, let's get started. Here we go. Now, first, let's start off by lying down. Now, to prepare for Chakrasana, you need to come into almost like a plow pose, which is one of the poses that is in the shoulder stand sequence called Halasana. So inhale, lift your legs and find a good stable base there. Then activate your pelvic floor. Inhale, bring the legs up and over. So the legs go over, then roll onto your shoulders. Now, take your hands under the shoulders. And again, how are you pressing? You're rocking back and forth, all right? So it's inhale, Chakrasana. Draw the elbows in, suck in the belly, and inhale, pivot, all right? So that's inhale, pivot, all right? I like to soften the knees. Make sure your toes are prepared. If your toes don't touch the ground, you might not have the flexibility for Chakrasana. Try it 3 times. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, and then inhale all the way over. I like to land right on the knees, just like that, all the way over. And that's probably the easiest way to move into Chakrasana. Now, a couple of things that you want to watch out for. If you're working in the pose, I see that people often push really hard with the arms instead of using that rolling wheel action. So remember, you're moving kind of on a backward, forward, or a lateral plane rather than an up and down plane. And that's something really important to work with. Okay, so let's try that again. The next thing that can happen is if you stiffen your legs and the legs, boom, they're too stiff, you're gonna block your action of rolling back on the way over. Okay, so here we go. Now exhale, let's lie down, get your hair in place. I can't tell you how important it is to get the hair really in place. I've seen many people kind of tweak their neck because their hair is just not in place. Now let's see if we can go through a little bit more integrated version of Chakrasana. Prepare by placing the hands under the shoulders, drawing the elbows in towards each other, all right? So this is a slight external rotation of the shoulders, the same shoulder position that you would get into if you're gonna do a back bend, but don't press up into a back bend, all right? Now the movement is nice and easy, okay? Exhale, find your pelvic floor. Inhale, all the way over. And then you would just walk forward from here and exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, come forward, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Okay, so that's an easy Chakrasana. Now, you may have seen some people kind of shoot back and boom, land in Chaturanga Dandasana. If you're ready to try that, you want to be sure that you can comfortably do kind of like the soft, easy one where you roll over and land in kind of like an up child's pose. You land on your toes and you're able to get that nice and solid. Make sure that you have a good Chaturanga Dandasana, you have a good kind of push-up position. Now, the next thing, which is really, really important, is that you always want to look behind you. If you're going to do that full jump back or roll back into Chaturanga, make sure you have the space behind you. I've seen happen in class many times that people get attached to, boom, landing in Chaturanga, and then when they go back, there's somebody behind them and they either kick them or there's a wall that's too close to them and then they end up kicking the wall, and that can just create, well, first of all, you can lose some friends if you kick them in the face on the way back, and then if you hit the wall, that can also really kind of compress your neck or destabilize your sacrum. Be sure that you go in a straight line. Do not roll over to the side. Don't roll over one shoulder. Don't move your neck to the side. Just keep it straight. All right. So if you want to go back into Chaturanga, another trick that you can think about is that you send your butt all the way to the front of your mat so you have at least the space of your mat. Okay. Then exhale, lie down. Get your hair in the right position. So some people practice with pigtails. I've never actually been able to do that. Okay, so when we're ready to move back, make sure your hands are under the shoulders. Activate the arms a little. You don't remember not to push up, but think about rolling. The axis of your wheel is right here, and you want to see that circular motion, and you want to let that complete by sending the legs all the way back to Chaturanga. Okay, here we go. Exhale. Inhale, bring the legs up and over. Okay, inhale, upward facing, and exhale, downward facing. Alrighty, we can come back to seated. Now, one of the most important things when you're working with Chakrasana, when you shoot all the way back, is to really feel that it's a long motion, not up. You don't want to balance on the top of your head. You don't want to like pause and headstand or something like that. You want to really just feel the full length of your body traveling all the way back. If you don't feel a soft roll in the pose, then I'd recommend for you to just continue to work on that. You'll notice that the head really needs to roll more as you land all the way back in Chaturanga. So again, any neck issues, if you feel your neck is not really flexible enough, then I'd recommend that you not really try to do this pose too soon. Instead, just cross your feet and jump back. You can always try to rock 3 times and try every day, kind of like 1, 2, 3. If it didn't happen, just sit up and jump back normally. Chakrasana is an important transition that's often used after some poses that place a burden of flexibility on your neck or your lower back. So by integrating Chakrasana into your practice, you'll find that you can actually relieve some tension in the neck and get, again, a sense of spatial orientation with the hips. This is an important transition that you begin to work on. Don't skip it, particularly if you don't like it so much. Just patiently put in the work. And if it happens or it doesn't happen, remember, still be a good person. That's really the most important lesson in the whole journey of yoga. Thank you so much for tuning in to this volume of the Encyclopedia of Yoga. Keep the seed of faith in your heart and the inspiration to practice every day. Namaste.